Hi, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, I am Romy, and I'm super excited that you're here with us. If you are on the replay, in the comments as you're watching this on the replay, if you could just put replay in there, and then any comments or questions that you have after that, that would be fantastic, so we can just kind of see what kind of value that we're offering people and if this is a good thing. So I want to start off real quick with this sizzle by saying these sizzles are designed to help educate us and share our information and our experiences with the oils. These, the cafe and the Zooms that we do and the conversations that we have are in no way meant to diagnose, to make claims of curing someone, to encourage people to stop taking their medication, all of that stuff. That is not what we're here for. We're here to be able to just help everyone just get the very best use of their oils that they can, and to be comfortable with them, and to really help people to feel empowered, to know that they have what they need already to take care of themselves and to live the very best life that they can, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. Our bodies were designed to do that, and the oils come alongside of us and really help our bodies to kick into gear and do what they were designed to do. So that is the purpose of this, is really to just help people to feel confident in taking the cap off the bottle, using the oils, knowing that it's good, knowing that it's okay if you really don't know what specific oil that you need to use for that time. Just know that anytime we use an oil, it's good for our bodies. It makes our cells healthy and happy, and they're just good for our bodies. So that's what I wanted to say about that. And I will probably say something similar each time we do this, because we have new people that come in to the cafe, and it's super important that when we are talking to people about oils, or when we're doing this, that we really make that very clear. We are not here to cure anyone. It's all about empowering each other and just help each other in that way. So I wanted to start off and ask you guys I just want to know what your experience was with our Copaiba challenge that we did last week. Does somebody want to share how it went for them? Okay, Copaiba is not a good oil. We'll move on. I will share okay, go ahead, Amanda. Can't hear you. Nope.
Now?
Oh, there we go. Awesome.
Perfect. Technology is great when it works. It's annoying when it So I'm not a huge internal oils user typically. I use them when I need to. But I was a little bit afraid to put a drop of Copaiba underneath my tongue because I thought that it would be gross. And it was just a little bit. But I was surprised at how quickly that fear subsided because of the benefits. The benefits far outweighed the perceived risk of dropping that oil underneath my tongue. And I even found, I knew that I was going to have a busy day today. It's going to be stressful, and it's full of a lot of appointments, all good things, but busy. And so I put a drop under my tongue this morning. So just like a grown up lady. So
awesome. One of the things that I found, because I do frankincense. That's one of the oils that I do a lot under my tongue, and have never ever liked the taste of frankincense. But I have some stomach stuff happening, and so I have been using cinnamon oil in my water. And I do lemon oil and peppermint oil in my water as well. So one of the things that I did before is that I would always add peppermint with whatever oil it was that I was putting under my tongue. But now having cinnamon in my water, that just makes it super easy. And the first time that I used copaiba, it was foul. I just didn't like it. But now it is, I mean, it really is like the one drop, because I am the person that if a small amount of something works, a large amount of something is going to work even better. And so instead of using just one drop of oil, I would do two to 4 drops of oil, which isn't bad. It's just you end up with that extra punch of flavor, and I didn't like it. So it worked really well to have just the flavored water in that way. The copaiba is an oil that I haven't used very often, and since we did the challenge, I did it a little bit throughout the day of the challenge, continued on to the next day, and I really did. I felt a difference in the way that I felt. I did feel some of the emotional stuff that Amanda was talking about when we did the call on Thursday, where I just, I kind of hit a wall in the afternoon. And so there are emotional aspects to all the oils that we use. And I think that's important to help people be aware that there is definitely the emotional aspect that can come along with when we use the oils, whether it's releasing some of those pent up emotions or, all different, there's many, many different ways that our emotions and our physical health are, they're blended. They work together. And awareness is key in that aspect. So I'm going to tell you real quick my experience with frankincense, and then we're gonna really turn this into a conversational thing. I like information, but I also like to be able to have you guys see how easy it is to converse about the oils. And for me, I'm a conversational learner. It makes it easier for me to retain when there's more life application and stories about something than getting in there and laying out all the details. Some people thrive on that. I don't. So my brain will just freeze on too many details. So the first time I used frankincense was in the very, very beginning. And so we talked a little bit about frankincense being a great brain oil, breaks the blood-brain barrier. It's a good anti-inflammatory oil. It's just a really good oil all the way around. Everyone really should be using at least 1 or 2 drops of frankincense a day, whether it's under your tongue, on the back of your neck, on the bottoms of your feet, somewhere, even if you're just diffusing. Frankincense is a really good oil to be using on a regular basis. So when I first got my oils, I mentioned last week, Natalie said, everyone should be using frankincense. And so I started with the family wellness kit, I think is what it's called now, with a small bottle. So it was a 5 ml bottle of frankincense. And I was like, okay, so I'm just going to try it. So I went to put the frankincense under my tongue. The oil didn't come out. So I tipped the frankincense bottle even more so. And not only did the oil come out, the oil poured out. It was all over the side of my face. Oh, it was disgusting. Like, I mean, mind you, I had absolutely no oil experience, none, before I started using doTERRA. And I said, I will never use this oil again under my tongue again, ever. It's sick. And so that was in the first part of April. Well, come Memorial Day, I was I was on track with my healing from depression. But it was also the very first holiday that I had spent by myself. Everyone was gone. My husband was traveling. Everyone was gone. I was out in the yard working in my pond, that was my therapy at the time. And I was in a pretty good place. And then all of a sudden, the feelings of sadness, like all of that heavy, really bad emotion stuff just came down on me like a hurricane. It was awful. And I was in my happy place, and it still came down on me. And so I decided, okay, Natalie says that this is going to help, so I'm going to do this. And so I went in the house, and I did 2 drops under my tongue. And in about 20 minutes, all the feelings of sadness went away. Like, seriously, what happened with me before I started using the oils, I was suicidal. I had clinical depression. It was really, really, really bad for me for about 2 years. Like, I can't even explain to you how bad it was for me. And when that on Memorial Day, when that happened, before all of that sadness came in, I really had that, I felt like I was on the right track and things were going good. And then when that cycle comes and the sadness comes again, it's very scary. So when you think that you're on the right track, and then all of a sudden it feels like you're not, and you have started coming out of those dark places, that's very scary. And so when all of those feelings lifted within about 20 minutes, and the rest of the day for me was fantastic. That was the day that I became a believer in using frankincense for my mood and to be able to support me through the depression. I use the Lifelong Vitality Pack as well, but frankincense during those times where it hits you just like that, putting it under my tongue is a quick support system for me in that way. And so just in case you're wondering, because some people do, for me, under my tongue works for that. For my mom, frankincense on the back of her neck works for the mood stuff. Other people, it works great on the bottom of their feet. I have tried all of those ways, and under my tongue is the very best way for my body. So the thing to remember as we're using the oils is, just because your neighbor had great results with a certain protocol does not mean you will. And just because you have a great success with a certain protocol does not mean your friend will. So it's very important to be open and continue to learn and use the oils and get your own experience, and really learn to trust your gut when it comes to using the oils, because some people will get some pretty amazing results from something that you would never think about using. So, and that's the other benefit of being in the cafe or other oil groups where people get to share their actual life experiences. So it's not all textbook. So we get to, it lends a little bit more credibility and integrity to what we're doing. So that's my story with frankincense. And we're going to turn it over to Karina and let her share a little bit what she has to say about it. Just so you know, Karina is my sister. She's also one of my business partners. Love her, I'm sure, as you would be. It's very obvious. And she's an amazing teacher. She's really, really good at teaching. Like I said, mine's more conversational. Karina can bring about more of the detail into that conversation that makes it super easy to understand. So go for it, Karina.
Hey, so she always does that intro, and it's like, no, don't do that. So a lot of people, for those that don't want to do the frankincense under your tongue, so the benefit of sublingual, like Romy's talking about, is that it is the most rapid absorption possible. You're not having any of the you're not missing any of the benefits at all. It doesn't have to go through your stomach and dissolve into there and then out into the bloodstream. It's a very rapid way of getting that oil into your system. So that is a benefit of doing that. If you're not comfortable with that, And you can see that Romy's doing, maybe you can't see her because it's, she's doing the cup and inhale. So I'll show you. So people are like, okay, so how exactly do I use it? For those of you that are new, you know, or that have been in this a while, you know how to do this. For those of you that are new, okay, we're just going to do a drop like that. Well, that was 2. And then rub them together, cup and inhale. So there's benefits of that because it's hitting the olfactory bulbs in the back. All of these cool little body systems that we don't even think about. We love that. But it is getting into your bloodstream, and it is working. The other thing that I learned before compliance, and we used to be able to have all of these really cool calls, but one of the tricks that was amazing for me was that you apply an oil to your wrist like that, and we've all done that, but then you put it above your heart and rub it together above your heart, because then it flows down to your heart. It's a more rapid way of getting that oil to flow downward and to your heart. And then from that process, you can cup and inhale from your wrists. It's just a different way of doing it topically. And that I believe was from Dr. Susan Lawton, long time ago, when I was watching her, which was amazing. Frankincense for me was a huge emotional support after the loss of our son. It was sublingual was the way that I did it as well. See, isn't that nice? Amanda's trying it. So it is an amazing, there's an amazing oil. It affects almost every body system. So we talk about it being the king of oils for a reason. It has monoterpenes and sesquiterpenes, which are cellular. They help the cells to regenerate properly. They have used frankincense in a multitude of ways in the medical field, and to support the system to actually help the cells regenerate and heal themselves. A lot of people will use it with breast cancer. It helps with pain issues. It helps with inflammation. It really supports all of those things, not to mention when people are going through cancer, there's a whole realm of emotional things. So it's hitting all of those different systems. So one shop oil, of course we use more than one, but frankincense, if you need an oil for somebody that is in one of those medical crises, frankincense would be one of the first go-tos for me, for the fact that it does affect so many systems. And so for those of you that have the Modern Essentials Handbook, the body systems that it affects. Let me see. I had it too, but I just want to read it from there, because you know that we have a ton of different resources available to us. Body system affected: emotional balance, immune, nervous system, and your skin. So pretty good overall. And then if you have the Emotions and Essential Oils book, frankincense is listed as the oil of truth. So sometimes when, like in cases of depression, there's a whole lot of self-talk that are lies. Mm-hmm. And when you are in a really dark place, there's a whole lot of lies that are coming in that have nothing to do with reality. And so frankincense, being the oil of truth, can actually come in and kind of create a barrier and a protection for you. It was used as a holy oil for a reason. We use it a lot when we do our Symphony of the Cells. our aroma touch. We use it in those areas for protection, because it helps to clarify things, and it helps with that emotional support. So I could go into a whole lot other things, but go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say along those lines, like if you know of massage therapists, frankincense is a really good oil for a massage therapist to have, because when you we're all energetic beings, and especially when you touch, then you have to be really careful with some of that energy. And as a massage therapist, the frankincense will help you to kind of be a little bit more protected energetically. So I know that's a whole nother topic when we talk about energy and stuff like that. So
they get to keep their emotions, you get to keep your emotions, and it's a barrier between the two.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, it's like germs. I mean, when we touch each other, we're protecting ourselves from germs.
Yeah.
So why? Yeah.
That's a great analogy. Mm-hmm. If your gut, if any part of your being just went a little hokey when we start talking energy, just hang on. We're not going to go into the energy aspect and all of that today, but do your research. There are some of those kind of topics can scare people. They think that it's it's a weird thing and it's scary and all of that. Scientifically, it's just accurate. It's just true. There is energy in everything. And so if it's something that makes you uncomfortable, if that topic makes you uncomfortable, just hang tight and do your research, reach out to somebody, have a conversation or whatever, and really trust your gut when it comes to certain things that make you uncomfortable, when it comes to the spiritual realm and the energetic fields and all of that. That's a huge topic, which we are not going there, but just hang on. Don't run away. So Karina talked about skin a little bit before with the frankincense. There was one, I actually have an oil info sheet that Susan Lawton gave that I got when I used to listen to those calls. So I just went through a little bit to give you some of what was in this sheet. So in skincare, it says frankincense is particularly helpful for older skins and has a definite tonic effect, helping to restore some tone to slack-looking facial skin and slowing down the appearances of wrinkles. And frankincense is safe to use during pregnancy. That is a common question. So frankincense is safe for pregnancy. And I'm going to put some of these in the cafe when we get off, because it's going to be too hard for you to be able to write some of these recipes down. But there's one recipe here that is for a clearing blend, and it is 3 drops of frankincense, 3 drops of wild orange. You blend in the palm and rub your palms together like what Karina was doing. And when warm, apply to the back of the neck and forehead, and focus on accepting positive thoughts and personal courage to be aware of goodness in self and those around you. Also inhale from warm hands, relaxes chest, and makes the heart happy. So there's several others in here, but I just wanted to throw that out so you know I'm going to be posting some different ideas in order to and how to use frankincense, because frankincense is our oil challenge this week. And it's also the oil that is it's a huge buzzword come December. And so we usually have an amazing deal on frankincense in December. So now is the time to really educate ourselves and educate the people on our teams and our friends just on the benefits of frankincense. So we're kind of starting ahead of the game in that, to prepare everyone for the good deals, but also really to be able to learn how to use them in the very best way possible.
So Romy, one
Yes.
of the big things that we haven't talked about with frankincense is when people have like severe headaches or, you know, some of that stuff, and you know that it's like right here in your temples and you're just, it's miserable. Mm-hmm. So frankincense, a drop on your thumb and push it to the roof of your mouth, that has created some relief in a lot of people. You don't hear it hardly anymore. I like that in there. So
yeah, just one of the other ways that I like to use. I do not get migraines, but I end up with some serious tightness in the back of my head sometimes that is like, holy smokes, if this isn't a migraine, I don't think I'd survive through a migraine. But so one of the things that I like to use is I do frankincense around my hairline, then I do lavender around my hairline, and then I do peppermint around my hairline. And I will moisten a washcloth, put it in the microwave, get it as hot as I can stand it. And I'll put a moist, wet washcloth on the back of my neck and then on my forehead, over my eyes a little bit, lay down and just take some deep breaths, just kind of like that meditation breathing. That will put me to sleep pretty much every time. And when I wake up, that tightness isn't completely gone, but it is definitely so much better that I feel like I can at least push through and function through that. The clamp is starting to release with that. And it's actually the frankincense that I realized is what helped the releasing of the clamping. So this is definitely open forum. Who has something to say about this?
I do.
I knew you did.
So to go along with the migraines and stuff that you're talking about, so frankincense doesn't always work for me, but I do frankincense on a daily basis for my migraines. Or not for my migraines, for my other neurological dysfunctions that I have. So, but I found by accident that Claricom and past tense on the forehead and the temples, back of the spine and on the abdomen, or back of the neck and on the abdomen, helps with hormonal migraines. And then 2, Melissa oil and frankincense on your thumb to the roof of your mouth. Or what's the other one that is comparable to Melissa? Lemongrass.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I know. All three of them are really, really nasty. But so I did an emotions course with Rebecca Hintz, and she talked about doing the oils to the roof of your mouth and on your thumb, and then it's almost like you're sucking your thumb, but then you walk backwards, and it's supposed to undo all of the negative emotions that have been bothering you. And for a lot of people, migraines are typically stress induced. A lot of mine are. But that is one thing that she had talked about for undoing the negativity, emotional negativity. Mm-hmm. I think it sounds kind of kooky, but it works. We did it in the class.
Yeah.
And it really does
was
work.
The weirdest thing ever.
Uh-huh. It was very, very strange. But
yeah.
So does Stephanie Fritz, you were talking about pregnancy and essential oils. Does Stephanie Fritz have a new book out? All I could find was the old one.
Kenzie?
She has a second edition. Yeah, you'll find it on her website, theessentialmidwife.com.
Okay. Can you add that link
Sure.
to this video? Because that's, I need it, but not for me. My friend just found
What are you saying, Tara?
dying.
Yeah, can I give a plug on that for
Yes.
oils? So this is
Yes.
really fascinating to me. So I luckily got to birth my babes in the realm of doTERRA. So the first thing that they both experienced here on this earth is frankincense. Within minutes of their birth, they got put on the crown of their head, and it's been such a blessing to have in our home, because when those little stinkers start acting up and I pull out that frankincense and sprinkle it on them, whether they're on the floor flailing in a tantrum or teething or whatever it might be, it just takes me right back there, you know? And I know it takes them right back there. And gosh, what a blessing. So just wanted to share.
Awesome.
Mom, will you share Kaylin's story with about frankincense that you did right after delivery?
Oh, yes. So when Kaylin was born, she, her feet were a very deep purple, and I mean, they just didn't look right to me. The doctors said, oh, it's just normal. And I said, I don't think so. And so they also stuck a tube down into her stomach and her lungs, and just to help clear. And so because of that, and because of the circulation on her feet, I put some frankincense on her sternum and on the bottoms of her feet, and also on the crown of her head. And then I did just a light massage through her back. Well, I have never done anything like that, so I didn't know what the reaction was going to be. I just knew it was going to be good for her. And I literally watched her feet go pink. I could watch the blood move on her feet once I put the frankincense on there. It was the coolest thing ever. And I was a couple years into using the oils, but I just had never experienced something like that. I wish I would have videoed it, but it really showed the speed of how it just helps the circulation of the blood and in the system. And not only did her feet pink up, she was sleeping in my arms. She woke up and she just looked around. She was very alert. It was the coolest thing. It was an amazing experience for me just in doing that. And so I don't know, for moms, naturally we're hesitant and want to do the very best things for our kiddos, and especially when they're first born, and you know, we don't want to do harm. And so it was a straight up experience for me that said, hey, frankincense didn't kill my granddaughter and it did really good for her. So it's good. It's okay. For a personal experience, that was a really cool thing for me. I wanted to talk real quick, and then we're gonna try to wrap it up. The thing that is important to know is that disease and pain and a lot of things that go on with our body is caused from inflammation. And there's many different reasons why we have inflammation. It can have to do with, you know, the food that we eat, the environment that we're living in, the perfumes that we put on our skin. There are many, many reasons why inflammation is there. And so if we can't think of anything else to do to support our body and our systems when it comes to helping with any kind of inflammation, because I don't believe that I believe everyone has some form of inflammation. It's just can't be any other way, especially because of the toxic world that we live in today, in many different ways of toxicity. The the gut health stuff, which Krista is with us. Krista is our gut health guru. So when it comes to supporting our system and trying to help it be as healthy as possible when it comes to inflammation, frankincense is a great place to start. 1 drop of frankincense a day. If that's all you do, 1 drop of frankincense a day will be better than nothing. And then really start your journey for education as far as how you can help to reduce your inflammation and really help to get your body and all systems to fire in the very best way that it can. Our bodies were designed perfectly. It's our job to be able to give our bodies the tools that they need in order to fire on all systems and, be the way that it was designed to be. So that was my soapbox for the day. Any comments, questions? Okay, so tomorrow our challenge is going to be frankincense. That's what we talked about. If you have someone in your life that has not used frankincense, like I said before, 12 drops of frankincense. That's what it's going to be throughout the day. We're going to do frankincense every hour, like we did copaiba. That can be under your tongue. That can be on the back of the neck. You can, put it in a diffuser. You can put it on the palm of your hand. However you want to use frankincense, that is your choice. But it is something that we're going to use on purpose. Be aware of how we're feeling. Even if it's a negative feeling, that is okay. Like I said, the oils can definitely start to stir some emotions in some people. Just know that is normal. If that starts to happen for you, that doesn't mean you're crazy. There's nothing wrong in that way. The oil is doing its job, and it's up to us to be aware of that and just kind of work through it. If you don't know how to work through some of the emotion stuff that happens when you start to use the oils, please don't hesitate to reach out to someone. If you don't know who to reach out to me, and I will hook you up with the person that will help you the very best. But it's super important to be aware of some of the emotions that can come along with all oils when we use them, especially stuffers. I'm a stuffer, so I'm not saying that is not a derogatory thing. I am also a stuffer. It's something that I'm working through, but it's very normal in that way. What were you going to say, LaTaryn?
If you apply your oils topically, make sure you're always applying clockwise. So, because it goes with your flow of your body and your chi, if you believe in that stuff, and it just works. It works a lot better. Yeah. And then, Mom, Cheryl wanted to know what your recommendation was for a depression protocol.
Oh, okay. I'll talk about, are you done, LaTaryn?
Yep.
Okay. So the Lifelong Vitality Pack, for sure. But if it's somebody that is just learning how to do this, the Lifelong Vitality Pack might be a hard place to start. So for me, when I started, yes.
You know Cheryl? Who it is.
Yes. So the vitamins, number one, above all things, when we talk about protocols to help people, whether it's for pain, emotions, whatever, for the overall health of our body, I am automatically assuming that people are already taking the LLV, or they are going to start taking the LLV and get the education, because that's number one, straight out of the gate, needs to be done. Then the frankincense under the tongue, that's one of the things that I did in the very beginning. And I also used balance on my wrists for the anxiety and agitation that comes along with the depression. But moving forward, since I had my conversation with Dr. Riggs, I now, especially for new oil users, because for people that are not familiar with using oils or using an alternative form to help them feel better, we're pretty comfortable and pretty ready to pop a pill. And so when we have people that are not familiar with how to do this, I now recommend the Serenity soft pills, and that is because Dr. Riggs recommended them to me. I got great results with them immediately, and it is a very, very easy way to help someone to feel better and do something that they are familiar with. Yeah. So really hardcore psychotropic drugs, when those are prescribed, they are prescribed for a reason. And it is like we said last week, in all of these recommendations, especially for chronic illness, depression, some of that stuff, please don't tell someone to go off of their medication. Please don't do that. Especially some of those psychotropic drugs. Oh my goodness, the side effects and the withdrawal from going off of that medication too fast without being under the care of a doctor can be devastating. That being said, there is nothing wrong with pulling in the oils and the vitamins and the other things, paying attention to what you eat. For my moods, if I can tell that if I eat too much sugar, too much of the simple carb stuff, and we're going to hear from Cresta later on as we move into this, and so she'll really touch on how all of that affects us. But I can tell that my moods struggle a lot more if I am not watching the food that I eat. So there's a ton of that. So that was a very long answer to that question. Sorry.
Can I add something?
Uh-huh.
So people that are on medications so I have a few people that are on my team that have been on a ton of medications for different reasons, and they have added in the oils and the vitamins and different things. And, a couple of them didn't even worry about cleaning up their diet. They just got consistent with the oils. They were able to wean off after being on the oils and the vitamins and stuff, they were able to wean off of a lot of the medications that they were on. So they're still on some, but are able to use the oils as a support system so they don't have to be on so much of that medication or multiple medications.
Right.
So a lot of people are concerned about the interaction of oils and the drugs that they're actually taking. And the oils are a natural fat, and so they work with our bodies because we're lipid-based and the oils are lipid-based, and they are not, they don't go against the medication that you are using. If you have concerns, find a doctor that's knowledgeable in oils as well.
Yes.
So, because when there is a lack of knowledge, their first recourse, say no. What?
People perish.
Well, there's that. But so when we don't know something, a lot of times we'll just push back against it and say, no, you can't do that. So finding someone who is actually educated or willing to learn about the oils is huge. When I was taking the Lifelong Vitality pack, my transplant team wanted to know what was in it. So I brought all the information to them about the Lifelong Vitality pack. They have a transplant pharmacist that specializes in researching everything you're doing. And they went through all of it. And there was they just said, no, that's a really good product. That was, and so it was clear for me to take. Educate, bring in the information. have an open discussion. But as far as the oils countering the medication that you're on, for the most part, there will be a couple of them that will list that if you have bleeding disorders or something like that, that you should use caution.
So I actually got to talk to Dr. Riggs about this because when I was actually seeing him and he was for some of my stuff was right around the time that I was trying to get my my grandparents into using the oils, but their biggest concern was that they were on blood thinners and their doctors told them absolutely no oils, nothing natural because of the blood thinners. And Dr. Riggs had said that he would have had to seen the dosage and the actual medication that they are on in order to be able to say yay or nay. Sorry. Majority of the time, blood thinners and grapefruit oil are usually the only ones that you have to really pay close attention to, because the grapefruit oil can still interact with some of the medications. It just a lot of the time depends on what it is.
Yes.
But that gave me an idea for a call, Mom. So I'm going to talk to Dr. Riggs about that.
Cool. All right. We went quite a bit longer than we did last week. So, are we doing a giveaway, Kenzie? Woohoo! Got to have your camera on for the giveaway.
Yep, we're giving away a Serenity 5 ml.
Nice. Perfect.
You ready?
Yes, ma'am.
And the winner is Iris Doolittle.
Woo! Iris! We can hand that to you in person next week.
True, but I'll forget, so I'm going to ship it.
Okay. All right, you can stop the recording, please.